Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, your super agent of stop motion animation awesomeness, X7, the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters, and as we'll see, the editor and publisher of Zenorama, the journal of heroes and monsters. Today, we are going to be talking about my favorite dinosaur movie, my favorite Ray Harryhausen movie, and my favorite Hammer movie. It's nice. It's a triple threat, all wrapped into one. That is 1 million years BC. I am sorry, Anthony Porter, friend of the show, that it was not Clash of the Titans, but believe me, you do not want me reviewing Clash of the Titans. I'd probably have to get old Agent B DA himself here to do it, and Lilith would love that, wouldn't you, Lilith? All right, before we get too far into this, here's the poster. Let's please like, share, subscribe, vote in the poll, leave a comment. Please watch or listen a little longer than just a couple more minutes. It'd be really awesome for the algorithm, and I'd really appreciate it. So let us get right into the show here.
Years BC erupts on the screen with volcanic excitement.
And that narrator is not lying. So this movie, 1 million years BC, was produced by Hammer Productions. It was a remake of 1 million BC from, what year was it? 1940. That was done by Hal Roach and, oh, come on. Who directed that one? I should know this. Directed by Hal Roach and Hal Roach Jr., who were also responsible for The Little Rascals. It's produced by Hal Roach and D.W. Griffith. This movie was directed by John Chafee and screenplay by Michael Carreras, who also produced. It was released in England in 1965, released later in December 30th, 1966, and released over here in 1967. Then it went to television, and it's never left. Thank goodness. Your humble agent saw it at a very young age, possibly 5 or 6. It was a Saturday or Sunday night movie, and it blew his little mind because you had dinosaurs. It looked like dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals. In fact, 3 other prehistoric animals. So, we're not going to go too much into the plot because it's essentially boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back while dodging dinosaurs and having family problems. We're just going to go through some pictures here, mostly. Because once again, it is my favorite dinosaur movie of all time. Still.
1 million years BC, when the earth parted and the mountains fell.
And it starred Raquel Welch and John Richardson, along with Percy Herbert, who had been in the previous Harryhausen movie as a Southerner in Mysterious Island, and Martine Beswick, and a bunch of other people. And I'm sorry, I don't really, it's nice that they're all in here, but that's pretty much all they give. Martine Beswick would later on become famous. She did Prehistoric Women and Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. So she's good. She and Raquel have a great fight, and they conferred with each other and decided they'd really make it look as real as possible. And people thought they had a lot of heat with each other, but they did not. Mario Nascimbini is that music you're hearing in the background of the trailer here.
Primitive man and monstrous beasts fought each other to inherit the earth.
I still wonder why they had to do this. Did anyone think these people were real? The Raquel Welch's fur bikini is very famous. It's iconic. I mean, you can see it in Shawshank Redemption, and just everywhere. Yeah, there we go. The man himself, the titan of effects, did all the stop motion. This is the U.S. trailer that you're hearing. and it's very effective. It would have gotten my attention, but I was, a year old and could, or 2 years old when the movie was released. Maybe my father and mother did take me to see it. Who knows? So this is just, it was filmed on location on Lanzarote and Tenerife in the Canary Islands in the middle of winter. So Raquel has been dubbed by Nikki van der Zyl, who did a lot of Bond girls and things. So you've heard her a lot. I'd like to learn a little bit more about her, but she got laryngitis and couldn't, probably couldn't be heard very well. So they just redubbed her. It's happened in several Ray Harryhausen movies that people were dubbed, including Jason the Argonauts. So all these people who you can't hear the actor's original voice and what they really mean. But this is barren landscape. It looks prehistoric. I mean, it's not really because they're volcanic. They're rather new, geologically speaking, if you will. But here's Akoba, the father, our hero, Tumak, and the sadistic Sakana, played by Percy Herbert. They're all great. I mean, they don't have a lot to say because it's all, caveman speak. But so our problem with the brother stems from this, a bloody boar tusk that he gives to Tumak. And that they're both jerks. Tumak's not completely not a jerk, but he's the protagonist. He does actually change throughout the course of the movie. Our antagonists do not. There's Nupandi, who's in love with, as much as love can be described back then, with our hero. And
not since time began has the primitive scene been captured for the screen with such imaginative realism.
Imaginative realism by putting people with dinosaurs. Tumak and his father have a fight, and the John Richardson here, who was a model, and Raquel Welch has said that he was the most beautiful man she'd ever met. So go figure. But he's really good in it, but he gets thrown out, and off he goes. He's like, I'm through with these people, and off he goes to find a better future. Oh, look, it's a slurposaur.
Behold man 1 million years BC.
What you're hearing.
Introducing the fabulous Raquel Welch, the sensational star discovery of this or any other year in 1 million years BC.
She'd already been in Fantastic Voyage the previous year, so I don't know that you can say you're introducing her, but yeah. So Slurposaur shows up. This is our first giant monster. It's not a dinosaur. It's an iguana. Yeah, it's well done, put in there, but it's an iguana. I mean, if I'd already seen the remake of The Lost World where the dinosaurs were portrayed by lizards, this would have filled me with dread. But at that age, I didn't even know that The Lost World existed, either version. So here is the Cavern of the Missing Links. And really, the whole movie could have done without this. The UK version, the original version, runs 100 minutes. The US version runs about 93 minutes. They excised the second scene of when Tumak goes back, a lot of it because they're cannibals and it's a gruesome death. They also excised several scenes from the Pteranodon and the Archelon. Spoiler alert: there's more dinosaurs coming, and those aren't dinosaurs.
See her as Loana the Fair One, who deserted her tribe and risked her life to follow Tumak of the Rock People.
She's of the Shell tribe. So we've got hippies and Neanderthals. Here he's in the desert, and we see this is the first time we see that something big is going to be around, and that's hopefully not just another giant lizard. It's not. There you go, Sabrina. Of I Know Dino. It's a Brontosaurus excelsus. Makes a brief appearance. He was also supposed to be in the finale where the two tribes come together to beat him or to get him. Like he was going to attack the tribes due to budget constraints and probably time. That did not happen. Some people have said this was just a throwaway shot, but they'd already built the model, and this is early in the movie, so it was still planned. I'm sure just at the end of the movie they said, okay, we got to do something else. And they did. So there's just a very iconic pose, too, with that head turned back. And here's the second menace, a giant tarantula, which, of course, you know, the cube square law says would have been crushed under its own weight. Plus, you can see a cricket there or a grasshopper of some kind that is eating. So there's giant grasshoppers here, too. This world is horrible. I consider this, well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the Canary Islands, looking beautiful. Look at that. And there's probably people right back here, just watching everything. But they cleared it all down there for this lovely aerial shot. The cave women, the shell people, who the cave are out hunting while the men are doing something. There they are. They're almost all blonde. I think there's some gingers there too.
John Richardson as Tumac, as big and strong as the beasts he fought for survival.
And there's Loana the fair one making her first appearance. She made she made the movie really because she was perfect for the part. This print is the full 100-minute one. It came from Internet Archive. Thank you very much. And then finally, we get a prehistoric animal, which is a gigantic archelon. They got to be about 12 feet, around about 12 feet, at least the ones I've heard that. The one at the Denver Museum, south of Fossil Bed here, is about 6 feet, which is still gigantic, but this one's a good, 20 or 30 feet. And so that's our first appearance. Now, this animal just wants to get back to the sea. It's not bothering anybody. Loana uses her shell to call people, and that comes in handy quite a bit. And this is the rest of the males of the tribe who are doing something, making spears, I guess, for fishing. It's just a lovely sequence here. Look at how well that's integrated. Harryhausen was an artist. I mean, he did stop motion well, but he knew what he was doing. Once again, you can't even see the matte lines there. And they have no effect on them. They throw rocks and spears and it just bounces off. The Archelon is probably the biggest, aside from the Brontosaurus, it's the biggest thing in the movie. It's not even aggressive. It just wants to get back to the ocean. There's Loana being very possessive about Tumac already, and I don't remember this girl. Does she get a name in here? She does not, but she's quite good in it and very pretty as well. And they're all cheering because they've driven it off, which they haven't done at all. It just is like, I'm going to the ocean, you turds, leave me alone. So it takes Tumac a bit to get used to everything. They teach him how to fish. There's some lighter moments here and there, but Ahat, which is someone who I guess was betrothed or promised to or something with Loana, maybe it's her brother. We just don't know exactly. They never tell. They don't have spears. The Rock tribe does not have spears. So, but they're getting their names here. And then one of Harryhausen's greatest sequences of all time shows up here with a baby. It's called an Allosaurus. It looks to me like a Tyrannosaurus, even though it has 3 fingers. Take your pick. It really doesn't matter. It's hungry and it wants some food. And back then, dinosaurs, meat-eating dinosaurs just attacked people no matter what they were doing. So we're going to see a lot of pictures of that. Here's picking up a live-action actor here out of the water. And then they swap over to the stop-motion doll, which you can see easily here. And just, it's just... and there's the little girl who's being...
Only the wild one, whom no man could resist.
There's the little girl that Tumac put in the tree so she could shake apples down. Nice little girl snack there. Here's a lovely shot. She's terrified, or supposed to be terrified. I think she got the job so she could scream, but they dubbed all that in anyway. She cries a lot, and then Tumac runs out to save her. And we have this amazing sequence where, just look at that. I mean, they have the stick figure so that John Richardson could look where anyway. So then he inspires the other 3 of the other guys one of them doesn't make it. So the T-Rex has killed 2 of them, will kill 2 of them. Spears and Chompy. And then Ahat gets his time to shine. Finally, For somehow he figures out he can impale this thing, and I feel sorry for the dinosaur because I always do. He was just hungry, but as he jumps up, he impales it. Now Harryhausen would later use this in Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. Sinbad kills the tiger, the saber-toothed cat, the exact same way. He did reuse ideas, everyone, quite a bit, actually. And there we have just a lovely mat scene where they're all looking, and they've got food for years, well, at least a couple of weeks, and they can make clothes or whatever they want to out of all that hide. Hopefully, I mean, I'm sure they didn't waste things. Here's them burying the dead. One of them, I think the first guy got chewed up too much and there wasn't anything left. That's my thought. Tumak decides that since he killed the dinosaur, he gets to keep the spear. Ahat says no, and he's probably... This leads me to think he's jealous and that Loana is not just his sister, but you just never know. And Tumak gets banished from the Shell tribe, but Loana decides she's going to go with him. And we get back to they're back in with the missing links, and this is what happens when they disagree with each other. They eat the other one. This scene was cut out completely. It just kind of stops the movie. It's not really necessary. I mean, she could have just been sad here, just because they're out in the middle of nowhere with no food. And they're filthy, and they need a bath. So there she cries, and that's like, is that the first time he sees tears or something? And they're bloody. I mean, they say that her makeup is subtly there, but she really did a good job. And then we run into the Tyrannosaurus.
The fascinating, strange, and fearful creatures who roamed and ruled the earth 1,000,000 years BC.
160.
Brontosaurus, a moving mountain of flesh and bone. The pterodactyl.
It's not a pterodactyl.
With giant teeth.
We're getting back here.
The flesh-eating Allosaurus.
All right, that's enough. So here's the battle between the Triceratops and the out-of-time Ceratosaurus, which is fine. Ceratosaurus became Guanji in the next movie, and then the Triceratops would become the Styracosaurus. Much less impressive, and it doesn't really look like it, but that's what Wiki says. Just some great shots here. I just wanted to keep, and here's the battle. We're not going to see the whole battle. We're not going to go through it. Needless to say, the Triceratops wins.
Triceratops, a horned dinosaur in battle with the savage Ceratosaurus.
Ceratosaurus.
You will share the unending thrills and excitement of a world of primitive wonders, of primeval terror and savagery. You will indeed live in another world. Another
world. I think that's a soap opera, isn't it? So they get away. Loana gets away first and runs smack into a koba, or a sakana. And she's learned a thing or two. She's not shy. She chomps on him to get him to let her go. And he's, I guess prehistoric men are a little, I mean, that would have stopped me. But, I mean, that right there, that's a great place to bite someone. And then Tumak shows up and stabs him right in the stomach with his new spear. And Loana convinces him to not kill him because he was about to stab him again. This was the second stab. They get back to the rock tribe, and then we have this fight here. This fight is long, and the rock tribe is still just savage because they're watching it and enjoying it way too much. But it's a good fight. I mean, you're not going to see all of it. Once again, here's just the beautiful Canary Islands where they shot it. Obviously, these places are shot back in England at Hammer Studios. But the exteriors are just gorgeous. It was winter and freezing. So they're running around in these, fur bikinis, and the guys are in loincloths, and they're freezing to death. I don't know how they kept warm. And it's not surprising that any of them got laryngitis or anything. But the mat's up here because it's foreshadowing. Here's another lovely shot there, which I never appreciated because, this is all, made up right there. And there's the fair one slipping or bathing
In another time, as the centuries fall back to reveal the Earth 1,000,000 years BC.
And here is my pteranodon with its bat wings. I've come to peace with it. Harryhausen had used his harpies from Jason and the Argonauts to turn into the pteranodon and the Rhamphorhynchus. We're not going to see too much of the Rhamphorhynchus because I'm still salty about it, as you'll find out. But this is a lovely model here. It's what I think of as a pteranodon. It's not Turu, who predates the 1,000,000 years BC by about 2 years, but it's good. It's good. I mean, I love pteranodons. They're my favorites. And this scene is just really well done. And it goes right after the blonde. It's like, I'm fed on all these brunettes. I'm going to have a blonde now. And there's a great shot of him trying to splash. I mean, it's just things you don't notice until you watch the movie, 10 times. And I'm being a little conservative. So they're just fighting it. Yeah. And what they did here was Raquel fell behind this. They substitute, and then the pteranodon picks up the model of Raquel and flies away with her. There's a spear right there that almost got, but probably would have hit her before it hit anybody else. So there's the babies, the little fledglings, and the pteranodons, bringing food like a bird. And then so animated model. These are, they had to build 2 or 3 of them, and I can't. And there's the Rhamphorhynchus attacking. Now, Rhamphorhynchi are tiny little pterosaurs. They're not pterodactyls, no matter what the narrator says, but they're tiny. There's no way it can beat this. And I don't know if it kills it, but it forces the pteranodon down and then goes off and eats the babies. There's the model of Raquel being dropped, and she lands in the ocean, but unfortunately, Tumak sees the Rhamphorhynchus, and not knowing the difference between a pteranodon and a Rhamphorhynchus, he thinks that it's eating Loana. And they go, and she finds her. She ends up there at the shell people because it flew away, and they couldn't have been that far apart. Really? And they meet it up, and here's the guy, the young kid, the only guy without facial hair in the movie. And Sakana has bullied him a bit, and he's had enough of it. And now they go and have a fight. And she is unhappy with Sakana too, because her peaceful nature is a little altered. But actually, they bring the whole shell tribe, or all the men, and some of the women out there, and they all mix and mingle and have a big old battle royal. And then the volcano blows. Sakana does get his well-deserved punishment. He gets stabbed, and then he falls back in and falls into the fissure. Fissure, I tell you. So the volcanoes, fake volcanoes, always are far more explosive than real ones. It's just the nature of Hollywood or the film industry. But they really did a good job with it. Pretty good job with it. I would rather have had the brontosaurus attack and just have them all band together to drive it off, and maybe it scooshes Sakana. Wouldn't have bothered me. As a kid, it didn't bother me. This was interesting. There's our lizard again, falling into a fissure. I hope it was all right. And then when it was done, everything's in sepia tone, which to me said that all the ash in the air was why, that's why it looked this way. It took me a while to figure that out. But they all start anew in this new land. So, we're going to listen to the rest of the trailer here.
Introducing the fabulous Raquel Welch as Loana the Fair One. John Richardson as Tumak.
And there you have the trailer. 1,000,000 years BC. Color by Deluxe. So if you want to learn more about this movie and other Ray Harryhausen and stop-motion animated movies, I recommend this fine book here. It's available on Amazon. It is in full color. And it was just... So it's one of my best sellers. One of Zenorama's best sellers. I highly recommend it. So that is the Japanese poster. So there's another reason I wanted to do that. You can buy the movie on a lovely, lovely Kino Lorber Blu-ray set. It's got the European version, and then the second disc has the American version for some reason, and it's also got a bunch of extras. A interview with Raquel Welch that was done for the British Blu-ray or British DVD a while ago, and then let's see, when was that? 2002. Talks about Raquel Welch, and then it has a Harryhausen interview. The Blu-ray also contains about a 30-minute interview with Martine Beswick, Nupondi, and she talks about the fight. Raquel used to poo-poo the movie quite a bit. I don't know poo-poo, but she was probably embarrassed by it. But it put her on the map. So, suck it up. I had this book, and probably this one. I also had one about geology, because geology rocks. And it's just, it's my favorite dinosaur movie and my favorite Harryhausen movie, as I said. And it just happened to be fortunate that it's my favorite Hammer movie. And I'm pretty easy to please with dinosaur movies. 1 million years BC. Remember this, and until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off.
Years BC erupts on the screen with volcanic excitement. 1 million years BC, when the earth parted and the mountains fell. Primitive man and monstrous beasts fought each other to inherit the earth. Not since time began has the primitive scene been captured for the screen with such imaginative realism. Behold man 1 million years BC. Introducing the fabulous Raquel Welch, the sensational star discovery of this or any other year in 1 million years BC. See her as Loana the Fair One, who deserted her tribe and risked her life to follow Tumac of the Rock People. John Richardson as Tumac, as big and strong as the beasts he fought for survival. Nupondi the Wild One, whom no man could resist. See the fascinating, strange, and fearful creatures who roamed and ruled the earth 1 million years BC. The Brontosaurus, a moving mountain of flesh and bone. The pterodactyl, a flying reptile with giant teeth. The flesh-eating Allosaurus. The Triceratops, a horned dinosaur in battle with the savage Ceratosaurus. You will share the unending thrills and excitement of a world of primitive wonders, of primeval terror and savagery. You will indeed live in another world, in another time, as the centuries fall back to reveal the Earth 1 million years BC. Introducing the fabulous Raquel Welch as Loana the Fair One. John Richardson as Tumac.